Grandma, am I still pretty? It's hard to tell sometimes. I know I replaced ponytails for perms too early and Vaseline for lip gloss a little before I should have, but I did not give him permission to take my innocence. I did not ask that man to make a woman out of me. I still wanted to be your little girl. He took all the hopscotch and happiness and turned it into hell, and I know you believe I shouldn't say such things, but I bled for 3 days and it was not the blood of Christ. I could not see God in the mirror the next day. Call me short of faith, but I didn't want to get on my knees to pray because there was no God in that room when that man stuck all of his ungodlies in such little of me. There was no mercy. He took all my fight, Grandma. I think he took all my pretty, too. I couldn't find my pretty. All I could see was a stranger in the mirror, red eyes, water falling, red nose running, regret. If I had been home before dark, or maybe if I didn't talk back when he told me he wouldn't hurt me, or maybe if I just did what he said, I'd be able to recognize this woman, red eyes, water falling, red nose running woman staring at me in the mirror. I still want to be pretty. But I seem to have transgressed from the sweet little angel to the easy little slut. I did not want to be this way, but I've learned that no doesn't always work and love kind of hurts, so I stopped doing it. I've learned that if somebody tells you something enough times, you start to believe it, and that's just as good as being true, so I've assumed my role in what I'm supposed to do. I guess this is what being a woman feels like. Red eyes, water falling, red nose running, regret. No more kisses on the forehead, no more I love yous before bed. I feel alone. Is this what it's supposed to feel like? Maybe I should have let my dresses grow with my height, and I guess I could have stayed in Girl Scouts a little longer. I should have realized that when they tell me I'm beautiful, they're not looking inside of me. They're just trying to find the entrance, but I'm empty now. So I've convinced myself that even in that moment, that even though I know that in that moment they don't mean it, I'm still beautiful. I've convinced myself that that's okay. And really, I've become fond of this face, and I've learned to keep my heart sleeve sweaters in the closet with all my other pet monsters. You know, in the drawer where I bury all the secrets Victoria can't hide. I found that there's not a dried up tear that Max Studio Sculpt Foundation can't cover. Really, that shit is amazing. I'm wearing it right now. I've learned to hide. Every blemish, every boil, every scar, every bit of beautiful beneath the surface. So forgive me, but it's hard to tell if I'm still beautiful sometimes. I've learned a lot. I've learned that sunsets can become synonymous to lonely, and for the girls who were never built to survive such darkness, who were built bright eyes and big smiles around broken insides, that only means one night and one thing, another empty nightstand. I stopped keeping my Bible in my nightstand when I realized I needed a more reliable plan B, and God was never too proud of me or the fact that I spread my legs before I spread the word. I've learned that at night I can bury the pieces of me that daylight isn't too fond of. The pieces that make poets cringe and put counselors on edge, I bury them under another man's unsuspecting chest. I've learned how to receive the parts of him that I can open myself up to. The parts that I'm missing but don't necessarily need. The parts that aren't as private as his thoughts or as sacred as his heart, so I'm trusted with these, but I'm still afraid. I'm afraid that there's not enough beautiful inside of me, so I let men skip the getting to know you phase, because if he got to know me, he'd probably wish he hadn't, and if he got to know me, he'd regret that it happened, so I let us skip the talking part. He only knows my name when I'm engraving it in his back, and when I'm hoping that if that's not a good enough reason for him to remember it, he'll at least remember to forget me altogether, because I cannot find it in me to forget the sins for which I'm still seeking forgiveness. Forgive me. I am afraid that I will never feel butterflies swimming in my stomach because I am a woman with ugly running through me. That man took all my beautiful and all my butterflies and left me with ugly. Grandma, am I still beautiful? Can you still recognize me? Through all the tears, underneath all the broken and battered, can I still be your little girl? Even though this world has made...
Take your time.
Even though I have been through the worst of the world, is there any pretty left in this worn and ragged soul? I need you to tell me that there is. I need you to recognize me because I can't even recognize myself, and I'm afraid that that may mean I have already lost her.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yes, girl.
Another round of applause for Miss Janay.
Me up, Amelia.
Indeed. Keep the energy